He's a social justice warrior.
Okay, by definition.
I mean, when in that first story, he's doing stuff like he came across a wife beater and just threw him through a wall.
There you go.
He finds a bunch of everything. It's a lot of little adventures. I can't tell you like the big story because it's really just sort of episode. But It's just a few pages of Superman dealing with a wife beater, a few pages of Superman dealing with a guy who is going to the chair for reasons that he's been framed, and so he's got stuff like that.
Okay,
so
he's just correcting errors.
He's correcting errors, but he's doing it in sort of a brute fashion, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And for the first year or so of that whole strip, there were no supervillains. There was no kryptonite. There wasn't anything like that. So Superman's adventures were basically social justice things. Like here's an adventure about a bunch of orphans who are being abused by an orphanage.
Right.
So let's do something about that. Here's a story about a coal miner coal baron whose coal mine is unsafe, and so let's go teach him a lesson. It was all. The very first Superman Sunday, because he went he finally did do the newspaper strips, and he finally went to the Sunday strips, and the very first Superman Sunday, I love this, is Superman comes into an evil banker's office, a crooked banker's office, lifts up a safe, and says, and I quote, and this is absolutely true, he says, "Nice place you got here. Be a shame if anything happened to it." That is about
Superman.
as far away from Christopher Reeve as you can get, and yet there's something so electrically fascinating about that character.
It's sort of this, but in some ways it's the same guy.
Oh yeah,
because yes, Christopher Reeves was very much a sort of a gentle, powerful giant.
He didn't have a temper like the original Superman did.
Right.
Exactly. He wasn't. You could make a case that the original Superman was a bully, but he was a bully to the right people.
Right. And essentially corrected what was in front of him.
Sure.
Like, didn't try to, if there were no supervillains and you had a superpower, you would fix the thing in front of you.
That's what you would do, exactly.
Right. Yeah. You were like, why? Why did you do, like, in Birthright, when there's a kid shooting up the high school, he goes and finds where they bought the guns.
Yes.
And he nails that guy to the wall with a bunch of guns.
Yes.
He's like, yes.
Yeah.
That's the same story.
Yes.
That's a great slice of, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So the first couple issues are just regular crimes, or regular injustices.
For the first year or so of those, because it ran in Action Comics every month, and then Superman Comics was their second. We got Superman so popular, we're going to give him his own comic books. They did, and so he's appearing in 2 books a month, or 2 books at once rather. So the problem with doing these social injustice stories is that you're burning through them pretty quickly,
right?
And there's a point about a year and a half in where Superman decides that there are too many unsafe cars on the streets of Metropolis. So he puts all of the car dealers on notice and says, "I'm taking all the unsafe cars off the street, just let you know." And he goes and destroys a car lot because they're selling lemons. And he goes to a car manufacturer that's deliberately selling substandard cars and destroys the factory. I think maybe you're punching down at this.